Third week, and so far so good. A video gifted to my princess this week in honor of the love between a woman and another woman. So with that said, let's get started. I release a new project every week, Thursdays at 3 Pacific. I need you to like, subscribe, and ring my bell so you can see everything we've got to offer. And leave a comment. We welcome the respectful feedback and look forward to interacting with the community. A lesbian is a woman who is physically and romantically attracted to other women. This is a form of homosexuality. The first mention of lesbian in history is in the Code of Hammurabi, a Babylonian code of laws from around 1700 BC that allowed women to marry each other. Lesbians may also prefer to themselves as gay women or simply gay. In years past, queer was a derogatory term used to define lesbians, gay men, and other people of the LGBTQ community. But some younger members of the community have reclaimed the term. Some lesbians might identify as queer. In general, queer simply means someone who isn't straight. Now, some people think that because lesbians aren't sexually or romantically attracted to men that they hate them. But most lesbians have friendships and professional relationships with men. Another myth is that one person in a lesbian relationship must take on the role of the man. One partner may play a role that's more traditionally a masculine one, but that isn't necessarily the norm. Each relationship is different. The gender dynamic depends on the specific people involved and how they interact with each other. There are also stereotypes that lesbians like to wear flannel shirts or that they're athletic or enjoy sports, but you can't identify a lesbian by that type of clothes they wear or what activities they choose. The word lesbian comes from the name of the Greek island Lesbos, where Sappho was born. She was an ancient Greek woman who wrote poems that included homosexual themes. The term sapphic, as named for this poet, also refers to female homosexuality. The use of violet among lesbians harken back to poems from Sappho herself. Many crowns of violets, roses and crocuses, together you set before more, and many scented wreaths made from blossoms around your soft throat. With pure sweet oil you anoint me, and on a soft gentle bed you quench your desire. No holy site we left uncovered, no grove. While translations vary, it's thought that the violets were worn by a possible lover of Sappho, either in her hair or as a violet tiara, or around her neck like a necklace. This image, eternally preserved in poetry, led to the purple flowers being linked with female desire, an association that has endured for centuries. And yes, centuries. There are actually many famous lesbians all throughout history. We have Rose Cleveland, the first lady who was the sister of Grover Cleveland. And now they weren't married so much as she served as first lady during his first term before he got married. At age 44, she began a relationship with a wealthy widow with explicitly erotic content. Now, this one is a great couple, Sally Ride and Tam O'Shaughnessy. Sally Ride, you may know, is the first American woman and third female astronaut into space. She was 32 when she rode the Space Shuttle Challenger STS-7 in 1983. It wasn't known until after her death in 2012 that she had been with Tam O'Shaughnessy for 27 years. Now, Tam O'Shaughnessy, 71, is a former professional tennis player and children's science writer who co-founded the science education company with Sally Ride, and even wrote her biography. Tam O'Shaughnessy still serves as executive director for this company as of recording this video. With biracial butch, lesbian, and drag king, Stormy DeLaverie was much more than just a fantastic entertainer. DeLaverie is believed to have been central to the Stonewall riots. Remember those from the last video? As she was identified by multiple witnesses as the woman who NYPD officers struck in the head with a baton and threw violently in the back of a police wagon. She fought back, and the crowd who'd been watching had finally had enough. De Lavourie remained active in the gay liberation movement after Stonewall, in addition to helping battered women and children in need while working as a bouncer in the city's gay clubs, reportedly well into her 80s. There's also a hugely important individual in medical history. Florence Nightingale came to be renowned during and following the Crimean War, establishing the basis of modern nursing, such as the importance of sterile environments and keeping wounds clean. Nightingale was born into a well-off lifestyle, but preferred to help those in need while involving herself in social reform and sex work, and the roles of women in the workplace. She never married, although several men courted her, and is self-identified as a lesbian from her personal correspondence. As if her medical proficiency wasn't enough, Nightingale was also an adept statistician who is credited with the invention of the infographic. We have another entertainer. Laverne Cox has been one of the most prominent lesbian, transgender actresses, perhaps to this day. It's important to realize the difference between sexuality and gender expression. And just because a person is transgender doesn't mean they can't also be gay, bisexual, or even heterosexual. After gaining popularity for playing the transgender woman on Netflix's Orange is the New Black, she began to use her voice to speak out for the transgender community. She also has a special edition Barbie that I have just got to have. So with all that said, the story I have today involves a pair of women from the medieval time whose love lasted their entire lives. Here we have Prudence Frost and her lover, Beatrix Dawson. In medieval Europe, the Christian Church took a stricter view on same-sex relations between women. Penitentials, developed by Celtic monks in Ireland, were unofficial guidebooks, which became popular, especially in the British Isles. These books listed crimes and the penances that must be done for them. For example, he who commits the male crime of the Sodomites shall do penance for 4 years. The several versions of the Penitentiale Theodore, attributed to Theodore of Tarsus, who became Archbishop of Canterbury in the 7th century, make special references to lesbians. The Penitentiale states, if a woman practices vice with a woman, she shall do penance for 3 years. Penitentials soon spread from the British Isles to mainland Europe. The authors of most medieval penitentials either did not explicitly discuss lesbian activities at all, or treated them as a less serious crime than male homosexuality. And we've already seen Madame Frost once in Tales of Atonement story. But when the villain is scrying on Madeline's family in order to find her, an old woman in blue is watching the carriage leave. This is Madeline's great aunt. A prominent member of the Frost Coven, Prudence never really felt in love with anyone besides Beatrix. Though being openly in love and married was decried by the church-controlled public, the two kept their love a secret well into Beatrix's 50s, when she tragically passed away after a battle with tuberculosis. The painting on the wall is the final act that Beatrix left behind for her love. And just the same, Prudence keeps this portrait painted of her love within her curiosity shop and gazes at it affectionately, even 20 years later. As the curtain to the left of the painting is idealized and painted with the colors of the lesbian flag. Now this flag, like many others, has had several versions over the years. The one I'm using is the most recent rendition, designed in 2018 by Emily Gwen. The color meanings are as follows. The dark orange for gender nonconformity. Orange is independence. Light orange, community. White is unique relationships to womanhood. Pink is sincerity and peace. Dusty pink is love and adult times. Rose is femininity. Other renditions include the 5-stripe design, lipstick lesbian flag, butch lesbian flag, and the Labrys flag. I really think this one is pretty cool, especially given the ancient Greek connotations and connections between the Labrys acts and lesbians. Despite the design of the Labrys flag being designed in 1999, the axe has been a symbol in the lesbian community since the 70s. It was an important symbol of the Minoan region of Crete between 2700 and 1450 before Common Era, and was associated with female goddesses and the Amazons, a tribe of women in ancient Greece often tied to female empowerment for feminism and queer women. Now, sadly, the Labyrinth has seen some falling out with the queer community, since it's largely being used by second-wave feminists and as a calling card for cisgender lesbians who seek to exclude transgender lesbians for being the wrong kind of woman. I can't stress how much that we feel that any kind of exclusion is wrong. No one has the right to be excluded for being who they are or loving who they love. In any case, I'm still going to try and leave you on a positive note. So happy Pride Month to all the lovely ladies who are into loving ladies. Another week down. This is a really sweet image. Next week, we'll be covering homosexuality in men with another important character we've only mentioned briefly. So, like, subscribe, and ring my bell to get updated for that and future projects. Your support helps us greatly in getting these projects and episodes out to you faster, so please consider visiting the Patreon link included in the description and check out the tiers we have to offer. Starting at just $1 a month, those at the $10 tier can gain access to a new page of the Monomyth comic book every week. The $50 Keeper tier gets access to the raw scripts so you can read the story way ahead of time, should you prefer the sort of novel format to the story. For now, let's me give a big thanks to our current patrons. Shadow Fox, Arya Gamari, Charles Tam, Jace Marlowe, Lunder Lumen. Don't forget, Catch and Kiss is the second episode of Monomyth, and we're looking at releasing it at the end of the month. I can't wait for you to see the new artwork and animations, as well as the stellar performances by our voice cast. And one more big shout out to Kama Bogbog of Fiverr. Hasn't their art just been great this month? Thank you so much, Kama. There's a link to their business in the description where you can commission them for as little as $5 a project.